This video is sponsored by Keeps. This past season, it was very, very interesting. I asked you guys on Twitter. By the way, follow my Twitter if you don't already. Like this is where you guys can really help the channel. I asked you guys on Twitter to name a player with a bad reputation not named Paul George. A part of the reason I asked that is because of what Jimmy Butler just did. Jimmy Butler just basically changed the entire narrative of his career in one season. And on the other side, it's kind of weird because you have a player like Kevin Durant. His career's perception completely switched in a bad way in a year. Fans went from loving this man's freakish skills, especially at his size, to calling him a snake, a cupcake, a troll, like he uses troll accounts. He doesn't brush his hair. His hair looks like this. And since we're already on the topic of hair, and if you never want your hair to look quite like this, you should probably check out today's sponsor. I know like 99% of y'all watching right now are guys, so let's just keep it a being, bro. We kind of have it hard in this department. The numbers say 2 out of every 3 guys, they're going to experience some form of male pattern baldness by the time they're 35. KD ain't even 35 yet, and look at his head. The best way to approach a common problem like hair loss is to get out in front of it. Don't wait till it's too late. Keeps, they do a great job at making sure you don't go bald, but you don't go broke as well. Also, they're a pretty rare breed. There's only 2 FDA approved hair loss products. They provide versions of both. The icing on the cake, you don't even have to go to the doctor, bro. Like, they deliver your medicine every 3 months. Those days are over. If you really care about your hair like I do, visit keeps.com/swishout or just click the link in my description. They're giving y'all 50% off of your first order, bro. Like, nobody's really doing it quite like them. Big shout out to my good friends over at Keeps for sponsoring this video and helping my guys keep their hair. Now let's get into this video.
I had to call Bron, and tell him, like, I apologize for being that young player that wanted to everything at his fingertips, and I wanted everything to be at, my threshold. I wanted to be the guy that led us to championship. I wanted to be the leader. I wanted to be all that, and the responsibility of being the best player in the world and leading a team is something that's not meant for many people.
Some people, they really defend Kyrie strong. Like, he has a legitimate fan base. I even seen it in my comment section. And some people, they hate on Kyrie strong. Me, I'm more so in the middle. Like, I see where both sides are coming from. But one thing, you really can't deny, he has put himself in situations where you could question, is he a little cancerous? And it doesn't really help that at least recently, his teams have gone a little further or a little deeper in the playoffs or had the exact same success when he wasn't there. So that doesn't help the case. I'm really interested to see what Kyrie does this time, because this is everything he wants. His own city, his own team, his own system. Like, it's no Brad Stevens system. It's no LeBron. This is really his team and his city. So I want to see what happens. When I decided to make this video and thought about this idea, I didn't really think about Kevin Durant, but as I tweeted, I seen Kevin Durant's name a few times. So let's talk about it. Nobody that watches basketball or knows basketball, nobody can take away from Kevin Durant's talent, or really even his, his resume and all that stuff. It's really decorated now. He has 2 championships, 2 finals MVP. Nobody can take that away. But kind of like Kyrie, sometimes I question his theories. Kevin Durant once said, and this is when he kind of lost me, and this is when I kind of realized KD could be a little off at times. KD once said, after he won that 2017 NBA Finals with the team that just went 73-9 without him, he thought the NBA world as a whole would crown him as the best player on the planet. He thought that did it for him. He's number 1. He dethroned LeBron. I'm like, bro, do you not understand the magnitude of the move you just made? Why would the NBA world accept that? Stuff like this, that's the type of stuff that makes me understand, the rest of the NBA world. As much as I love KD, like, I can't stand when people do something outlandish or something crazy and act oblivious to why the rest of the people react the way they, like, come on, bro, you know what you just did. And speaking of what he did and, the person he actually hurt the most by doing this, or the career he hurt the most, let's talk about Russell Westbrook. After KD left, it kind of did something weird to Russell Westbrook's career. Like, it gave him this big ass pity cloud and everybody felt sorry for him. And we just all fell in love with Russell Westbrook. Once he won an MVP, everybody was happy for him. Like, we all rooted for Russell Westbrook that year after KD left. But now when you look at it, like 3 to 4 years later, it's almost like Russell Westbrook has proven Kevin Durant right in his decision. Not defending him going to Golden State and all that stuff, but the fact that he left Russell Westbrook specifically. After KD left, and I hate saying this about Russell, man, because I really respect Russell Westbrook and the effort he puts forth. But after KD left, Russell Westbrook won 4 playoff games at OKC in 3 years. 4 playoff games. This man went like 20 plus games in his whole playoff career post KD, damn near without even shooting 50% one time. I don't like to put too much stock into this last playoffs because I know he got COVID. It was kind of a weird year and all that stuff. But even after Houston built a system kind of specifically for Russ, they still couldn't get over that hump. And Houston, they were going pretty far in the playoffs without Russ and when they had CP3 and all that stuff. So it just makes Russ look bad. James Harden, it's not really as bad as Russ, but he does have a pretty bad reputation. Everybody talks about how he chokes in the playoffs and how he's had a multitude of games where he hasn't shown up. And my real critique on him, he's had so many different styles of teams. Daryl Morey and Mike D'Antoni, they built a lot of styles of teams predicated to James Harden, and it never worked. I don't blame him too much for this, but he did have Kevin McHale, a Hall of Fame player. He had him as a coach. That, for whatever reason, ended on a very sour note. Then you got Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard battled injuries, I understand that, but that ended on a sour note. Then he got Chris Paul, went pretty far in that first year, should have won a championship to me if he never got injured, but that ended on a sour note. Then he gets Russell Westbrook, and now he's possibly going to get traded. Like, he's the common denominator every single time, and you have to look at that. Paul George, I don't want to go too in on him because I've said enough. I made a video about him. Go check it out if you haven't already. For whatever, it's something mental with him. Every time the big moments happen, it always seems like he's AWOL, and it's like a mental thing with him. Like, I don't know what it is with him mentally, but he's not strong enough to show up in the big moments. And if they don't win it this year, or at least get to the NBA Finals, Western Conference Finals, he's going to be the worst trade of all time. Giannis, I made a video about Giannis, right? Basically, I was talking about how he was like the NBA's darling, the NBA's, sweet story, Cinderella story. He made it to the NBA. He's all the way from another country, his story and all that. People love you when they love you. But after a while, just like with LeBron, if you're not winning, bro, they are going to start crucifying you. And it happens to everybody. When Giannis first entered the league, nobody really talked about such a glaring problem that he has. Like, just like Ben Simmons, he doesn't have much of a perimeter game. He doesn't have a jump shot and all that, but nobody really talks about it because everything else makes up for it. But as you get these accolades, MVPs, number 1 seeds, defensive player of the years and all this stuff, and you consistently get bounced in the playoffs every single time, and it's specifically because of your glaring problem, that's when it becomes your MO and really hurts your reputation. Ben Simmons, and I feel like I always end my video with him or Philly, but his is probably a little bit worse. Yes, it's similar to Giannis and all that stuff, but the reason I say his, it might be a little bit worse is because he gets compared to Magic, LeBron. Bro, I said this in a video a while ago. When you compare these players to Hall of Fame players, like when Devin Booker was getting compared to Kobe and all that stuff, that's when I said it. You put this big ghost over their head that they're never going to live up to. Ben Simmons may never get a jump shot. Does that mean he's a bust or a disappointment because he didn't mold into LeBron like you expected him to? No, like he may not be who you thought he was. Is it, the biggest liability in the NBA because you know what he could be if he developed that part of his game? Yes, bro, but he's not LeBron, he's not Magic, he's Ben Simmons, and he may stay Ben Simmons, a dude with no jump shot. So let's stop those comparisons. If you guys enjoyed this video, man, like the video. I try to give you guys, you know, something a little bit different. Make sure you guys follow my Twitter, my IG, all that great stuff. The NBA is on its way back, man. I'm so excited. Free agency, the draft, you know, the preseason, if we get that. I'm just so ready, man. I miss basketball so much, man, as you can see. Like I said, man, like the video, do all that great stuff, guys. And until next time, as always, stay tuned.